Hello, it's Mr. Mayhew here, and today we're going to talk about a question that I don't normally get asked as a teacher, but is the typical root reason for why a student can't decide on what career path to choose. And that question is, what happens if I make the wrong choice? So why are you afraid of making the wrong choice when it comes to a career pathway? The main reason that comes to mind is that you feel that the career choice you pick will ultimately affect the rest of your life. Now, I'm guessing that in your mind, for the rest of your life, it should look something like this. You graduate from high school, you gain a tertiary education, you then get a job, get married, have kids, grow old, and then eventually die. As a result of this, you probably come to the logical conclusion that if I don't know what I want to do, I can't go to university, and then that means I don't get a job, and that means no one's going to love me, and as a result, I'm going to grow old and then die alone. Alternatively, you might be thinking, if I go do a university degree that I don't end up liking, I'm going to get a job that I hate, and then for the next 40 to 45 years of my life, I'm going to hate my life and probably die as a loser. So that sounds a bit extreme, but I wouldn't be surprised if you've had similar thoughts to this. The reality is that the rest of your life will not be as clear-cut as you are currently thinking. So what does life actually look like? While it's true that a decision you make now will have some influence on what will happen for the rest of your life, it doesn't automatically mean that you're forced to continue on that path. You'll realize that you'll have many choices to help you figure out what is the ideal career path for you. Now, these choices may either propel you forward in your chosen career path, or these choices will allow you to switch paths, and so you get to pursue something that you really want to do. Did you know that depending on where you read, the average person goes through around 12 different jobs in their lifetime? Now, the thing is that these are jobs that are not necessarily in the same industry, but in actual fact, they are across different job sectors. As you get older, you'll start to realize that it's actually quite normal for people to switch careers. If anything, it's actually not normal to just stay in the one career path. And you know what? Did you know that in 2015, a recruitment site found that the average age of someone who reaches something known as career contentment was actually 32 years old? Now, I'm assuming that you're in your early 20s or you're in your late teens, and so if you don't know what you want to do, based off this research, that's okay. More interestingly, the recruitment site found that the career contentment typically only occurs after people have switched jobs at least 3 times. But what happens if you're wanting to eventually start your own business? Well, did you know that depending on where you read, the average age of the person who starts their business, which eventually becomes a huge success, is actually around the age of 35 to 40 years old? You didn't know that, did you? Now, social media platforms would make you think that it was in your early 20s or in your 20s in general, but it's actually not. Now, I want you to know that it is normal to be afraid of selecting a career path right now, but don't even think for once that as soon as you select a particular career pathway, you're stuck in that pathway for the rest of your life. Remember, you will always have a choice. A while ago, I was told a story about a father and a son who were in some national park. Now, they spent the whole day there and it was pretty fun. It was getting late, and so they started to head home. Now, along the way, they reached a fork in the road that they didn't recognize. They stood there for a bit, unsure which path to take, and so they gave it some thought and they felt that they should take the path towards the right. They went down that path, to which it reached a dead end. As a result, they had to turn around, head back to that original fork in the road, and then took the path towards the left. Now, obviously, that path was the correct path, which allowed them to get back home. Now, along the way home, the son was actually quite frustrated that they wasted time going down the wrong path. The dad saw this actually as a good opportunity, a good teaching opportunity, and said that although they did originally go down the wrong path, they still managed to get home. He emphasized that at the end of the day, what matters is the fact that they got home. When they got to the fork in the road, the primary goal was to find their way home. Yes, getting home faster would have been a great bonus, but it wasn't the primary priority. In addition to this, the dad mentioned that by going down the wrong route, they inadvertently saw a part of the national park that they wouldn't have experienced had they picked the right path in the first place. As you can see with this story, there are many parallels that you can draw. Now, the main priority for you right now is to find your ideal career. Figuring it out on the first go is an added bonus, but it's not the main priority. Just like in the story, if you end up picking the wrong career path, you would have gained at least a lot of knowledge, skills, and experience that you wouldn't have otherwise received had you picked the ideal career path in the first place. In actual fact, in many cases, because you went down the wrong pathway in the first place, the experience you gain actually opened up a new career opportunity you wouldn't have otherwise thought of. To help illustrate this further, I want you to pretend that I've never ever tasted salt before. Every food I've eaten, every drink I've had, I've never ever tasted salt. Never. Let's say I turn to you and ask you, what does salt taste like? What would you say? You'd probably say that it's not sweet, it's not sour. I wouldn't be surprised if you'd tell what it isn't rather than what it is. After not knowing what you would say, you'd probably come to the realization that the only way that I would know what salt tastes like is to actually experience it for myself. You know, I could ask you all day, every day about what it tastes like, but at the end of the day, I must make the decision to go and experience it for myself. So what's the take-home message? If you've done your research about the different careers and you're still not sure, just pick one and go for it. If it's the career path for you, then fantastic. If it isn't, then that's fine. You would have learned valuable skills, knowledge, and experience in the process. All you have to do when it comes to the realization that the career path is not for you is to pick yourself up and then go down the other path. At the end of the day, even if you pick the wrong career in the first place, you will actually be better off now compared to if you were to sit at that fork in the road waiting for some sort of revelation to tell you what to do. And so go out there, research your possibilities, and then make a decision and go for it. And that's it, guys. If you got value out of this video, please like and share this video with someone who you think will benefit from it. Now, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so, and I will catch you in the next video.